we last saw him play at ASIS. His team has really been up to a lot already this year. And on deck is the one and only Martin Gren, coming to us all the way from Sweden. All right, folks, looks like we're about to get this series started. Who wants to play ball?
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. How are you? Great. Well, thanks for joining us at the opening day of ISC West. It was recently opening day for the baseball season, which we're all excited about. And we're also excited to have Martin here with us, the co-founder of Access Communication. I have one question for you, Martin. What do you really know about baseball as a Swede?
Well, to be honest, I don't know that much. But it's an exciting sport, I hear, and I've been visiting a couple of baseball arenas during all my trips here to the US, so I guess it's a lot of excitement. And I've also noticed that you've managed to penetrate the baseball associations here by putting in the Access PDC cameras into their logo.
Yeah, that's the new official MLB logo here with the Access PDC camera, so that's going to be exciting for this season. Anything else you know about baseball?
Well, actually, I have a confession, and that is that I do collect baseball cards.
Oh, you do? Do you have a favorite card?
Yes, I do. And guess who's on it?
Okay.
So there's a lot of facts about you here. I mean, I don't really know your birthday. I know that you are later going to introduce a lot of 14 new products that we are announcing here at ISC. That's quite a lot. Our engineers have been working hard. We are the #1 here in the US, and thank you very much for that, Fred, with all the good job you've done. We have a team of 250 employees here. That's quite a lot. It's significant. But 5 offices, do you really have 5 offices now?
We do, actually. Just about to open the 5th, we had one in Boston that we had for a long, long time, and I think that some of you might have visited that office. We have one in Toronto, that's a couple years ago. We have one in Mexico City, and last year we opened one up in Chicago. And we are on our way to open one up in Los Angeles, so that makes a total of 5, so that's correct. I also collect baseball cards. You want to see my favorite?
Oh, look at that.
That's my favorite card. So we have some stats about you I couldn't figure out when you were born. But one thing that kind of got into the education, I said not applicable. You never graduated from college.
No, I'm unfortunately a university dropout, and I never got my exam, which is something that my mom is very mad at me for. But the good news is that I'm actually going to become an honorary doctor at the Lund University, and that means I finally get a title, and my mom will be able to relax.
And also looking at Access globally, since you founded the company 30 years ago, it's going to be 2,000 people, 50 offices globally. #1, and I look at the product that you're planning to launch. We have 14 in total. Are you in this too here? Why is that?
Well, I mean, I work in the new business team, but we do products which are not really cameras, and I'm proud that we can announce 2 new products from our team, which are not really cameras, and we will show them a little bit later here.
Very good. So that's 2 of the players here today. Let's look at the field. And the theme of the presentation here, as we figured out, is a little bit of baseball. We have 4 different main topics that we're going to talk about here. But first we're going to see what Martin knows about baseball. So why is this configuration look like it does here? What's going to go on in the field?
Well, there are various areas. I know where you throw the ball and where you stand with the bat, and you should run around a little bit.
Okay. So put this on here.
Oh,
just in case. Arnett, you call it a helmet. This sport. There's gloves here. You can put them on if you want them. And there's a bat.
Oh. So get to throw the ball.
No presentation without a bat. And why do I have this face mask on here, Martin? So what are you supposed to do? How does the game work here?
Well, I guess someone throws the ball, and then I'm going to hit it and throw it as far as I can.
Throw or get back, right?
Yeah, don't hit anyone with that.
And so, that's one thing you can do. But on the first base here today, we're going to talk about quality and how is quality and baseball related.
Well, before we had professional testing of our products, we actually used a baseball bat. to verify the quality, and simply by hitting the products with the baseball bat.
Okay, so here we have the camera that is running here. Can you show us how the test typically looks?
Okay.
Yeah, watch it, Mark. Okay.
So you can see it performs great video even while we're hitting it.
Okay.
Fredrik is stronger than me.
Okay. Still working? Well, okay. What else can you do? Is this what you do as well?
No fighting on the field. While I have your attention, let me talk a little bit about IK10 and vandal resistant, which is a self-certification that manufacturers has when it comes to vandal resistance of cameras. The certification states that a camera should be able to withstand 5 direct hits of no more than 3 in the same specific area. The test should not crack or disform the casing, the protective casing around the product. At Axis, we take that step even further. We actually do 30 impact tests on our cameras, and we hit the structurally weakest part of the camera when we do these tests. Furthermore, we ensure that IP66 rating is maintained, the protection against dust and water after the malicious event that has happened inside to the product. And lastly, we ensure that the product does not require refocus, does not require repositioning, and that it actually works, which is not stated as part of the IK10 vandal resistance test.
Okay. Thank you, Patrick, Manager of Professional Services and Product Liaison to Sweden, our expert here locally. So thank you for that clarification. And why is this important? What is the point we're trying to make here at this testing video from our labs in Sweden? Well, we need to think about the products we have here are designed to protect people and to protect property, to protect children, to protect government facilities, etc., etc., etc. And quality is of utmost importance because these products are going to be installed and be operating 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, not for a week, but for years, sometimes 5, sometimes 10 years. And while the cost of the product is important, the cost of ownership and making sure that camera is functional every second of those years is going to be installed is really, really important. And some of the tests that we have out there specify certain things, but we take it way beyond those tests to make sure they can operate for years and years to come. So that's the test we wanted to, that's the thing we wanted to provide here, and also see how Martin was doing with the baseball bat hitting the camera. You're able to get it out down on the floor. I think that was pretty exciting.
I think we did well.
Yeah.
I'm glad that happened.
So quality was first base. Take us to the what's the second base here?
So, I mean, I'm sure this is a press breakfast here at ISC, the biggest trade show. So I'm sure you're all looking into the trends of what's going on in the industry and what's going to happen ahead of us. So Fredrik, can you give an update here on the industry trends as you see them?
Yeah, so what does the 2015 season bring to us here at ISC West? Well, if you have visited the trade show, or you will later today, you will see it's the most vendors ever out there. There's over 1,000 vendors. There is over 200 new vendors. The square footage area, it's almost at an all-time high, and the number of visitors is at 23,000, something like that. So what that means is that we can enjoy continued growth in the industry. And if you look at some stats here from our dear friends at IHS, we can see this, they estimate this market to continue to grow. The global video surveillance market at over 10% per year for the coming years here as well. So then the big question is, why do we have growth in the market? What are the trends that are driving this growth?
Well, there's a number of reasons for the growth in the industry. I mean, one of them is, of course, the increased need of more security in societies. We also have a lot of applications that have become possible because of IP video that weren't really viable before then. And we also see how technology is actually now complementing guards, and you will actually see that the manned guarding, that's no longer a growth industry in the mature markets. And that's because you make the guards more intelligent by equipping them with technology. And talking about technology, of course, the improved technology driven out of Moore's Law and so on makes us getting better and better quality products with, in particular in regards to image quality.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the main drivers as well. If you look at all the new technologies that come out, They all drive different things in the industry, and we tried to categorize them here and came up with really two different categories of big innovations that's been driving this industry for the last 10 years. The first one is better image quality. By better image quality means it's more valuable system to the end users because you can get more out of the video, you can see more details, etc., etc. The other one really relates to cost savings. Some technologies provide savings in the total system, the design of the system, the installation, the maintenance of the system, and that's also a huge driver for growth to make people want to spend more money on the surveillance systems and less money on the guards, as Martin talked about before. So if you look at those two different categories, image quality and cost savings, let's go back to a very important season in baseball, 2004, because what happened in 2004, Martin? Do you remember that in baseball?
That was when the spell was broken for the Red Sox.
Exactly. The Red Sox won again after 80, whatever, 5-6 years of not winning the World Series. But we had an important innovation back then as well.
Yes, so the important innovation was that we developed network cameras that had progressive scan sensors. And progressive scan means that the camera could take good pictures even on moving objects without getting the artifacts of the interlaced video as all analog cameras has.
So then the next one we have is a blue innovation, more of the money-saving or business aspect, and that was the introduction of Power over Ethernet in 2005. And really what that provided was a huge cost saving being installed and increased quite a bit because the cost was being reduced. Then the next one we had was introduced in 2008. It was also cost saving. It was actually introduced at the press breakfast, and I think some of you in the room here were at that press breakfast in 2008. And that was the introduction of H.264, a new compression that cut the bit rate by more than 50%, which meant that less money being spent on the network for bandwidth and less money being spent on storage. And that became a huge driver for the industry. One challenge we found though, when that was introduced, is that we need to upgrade all our cameras with new hardware, which took 2 years or so. And we also needed to make sure that all our VMS partners, the video management systems, had to upgrade to support H.264, which also took a couple of years. And all the end users need to upgrade their hardware, the PC servers, to make sure they had a graphics card to support it as well. So it was a very long time before it really had a good impact on the market. And I think it also relates back to 2004, the H.264 market.
Yeah, that was the year where the H.264 standard was ratified. So you can see it takes a long time from a standard is ratified to you have the products for it until the products are actually adopted and used by the end user. Because they require that they're integrated in VMS, graphic cards, PCs, you name it. So the next important innovation, which was really driven out of the H.264 standard, was HDTV. I mean, we all have the HDTVs in our living rooms, and in video surveillance, it was still relying mostly on PAL and NTSC, which are inferior resolutions and image qualities compared to what you can do. So of course, in a job where image quality really matters, such as video surveillance, it was kind of strange that was not the standard yet. And we were driving it really, really hard, and today I would say basically all new surveillance cameras are HD resolution.
Then the next one we had in 2010 was the adoption of PoE+, so higher power over Ethernet, which meant that not only indoor cameras, but also outdoor cameras with heaters and blowers, as well as PTZ cameras could be power over Ethernet, which was yet another great driver for people installing more cameras.
So on the technology side, as you know, I'm a proponent of IP video and I don't like analog. So we said that there is one area where some people could argue that analog was better than IP, and that was on light sensitivity. So we began a big project internally to have a lot of engineers to work on can we make the world's most light sensitive camera technology. And in 2012, we started shipping our Light Finder technology, which was the first technology of its kind that could see color even at night, and you could learn that the sky is actually blue at night, not black, as many people believe. And that was a significant cornerstone in the evolution of IP video. So last year we introduced and shipped the first 4K cameras. So that's the new consumer type of resolution. And it's a technology that's really useful if you have special, super high-end needs, such as, let's say, Federal Reserve buildings and so on. It's an interesting technology that we will see a lot more from. So the question is, so what are the technologies from this year? What are we going to come up with?
Well, if you want to have a fair game here, you have 4 of the red category innovations, and we have only 3, so it's time for something that saves on the cost side. And it was a long time since we had a new compression. So the big question is, does that mean that we're going to do H.265 and introduce as a new compression? And that could definitely be an option. But you have to learn from your experiences in the past, and when we introduced H.264, it was really a great new technology, and people really liked it, but it took many, many years until it really affected the market. So, learning from the experience, we're trying to do things differently. And how do you do things differently, Marco?
Well, we have to think out of the box. So we decided, in order to think out of the box, we need to do a good lineup card here. And we decided that we should put in some oddballs and propeller heads into this line card. So we actually added some rocket science, we took some mathematicians and some software engineers, and they should come up with something completely else.
So what do you really get if you put what do you think you get if you get a space engineer, mathematician, and software developer together in one room and then spend a year together? Well, what they came out with was a zipper. So Martin, what is a zipper?
Well, the zipper, that's our new ZipStream technology. And what our ZipStream technology does, bottom line, is that on average it cuts the bandwidth consumption by 50%. And that's less bandwidth and it's significantly less storage, which is really useful, especially if you have higher resolutions and high retention times. And what the technology does is that it isolates the important areas and does not compress them so hard, but the unnecessary areas which really don't contain any information, those areas we let to be more compressed, so that we get a higher compression ratio without sacrificing the important details. And the beauty of this is that because we do it in the framework of H.264, it's actually automatically compatible with all the leading BMS vendors. So there's no need for any upgrade of software and so on. It should work right out of the box. So it really gives the savings right away for those camera models that have this technology available. And the best thing is, it's available now.
So no reason to update the BMS software, no reason to update the PC hardware they run on, and could you even upgrade an existing Axis camera?
Yes, the ones which have the right architecture generation.
So let's do a quick little demo here. This is the same scene here. This is a stream without ZipStream, and this is one with ZipStream. And you see the savings here. That's 12 megabit or so. And this start off at 12, and with ZipStream active, it goes down not only 50%, but almost 75% savings here. Play that quickly again here. Which is a huge saving. That means 75% saving on the storage side, 75% saving on the networking side as well. And really, this is a typical surveillance scene. I hate to break the news, but surveillance scenes are pretty boring. It's not like consumer video where you want to watch an exciting, show or something like that. It's actually quite boring. So we can do a lot more things than just using the standard H.264 to compress the video. Still within the standard, still would maintain details, but compressing hard in the areas that really are not of interest. So what does this mean for H.265, you think, Martin? This is different, this is complementary, or how would this affect?
Well, we will of course be working, we always follow open standards, and H.265, we will definitely be using that when time comes. And I think that H.265 can also benefit from our ZipStream technology. But one has to understand it will take time until H.265 settles, all the BMSs are seem to be compatible, the graphic cards, and not the least, the patent situation needs to be cleared out so that you can use it freely or with a firm license program. That is not the case today.
So That was one market trend, more technology that really drives the adoption of video out in the market by saving a huge amount of money, especially on the storage side. Other market trends we have also relating to baseball. I'm going to teach you some more things about baseball here as well, Mark. And there's something called Major League, Minor League, and Little League. I'm not sure if you heard about them and you know the differentiation, but I know there's one thing you like about this slide.
Yeah, and what I like about this slide is that another quality of the analog video, that is that camera counts is always done in the multiples of 4. So it's 4 camera, 8, 16, 32, 64, and so on. But you know what? We are all humans. As humans, we think in the decimal system. We like 1, 10, 100, and 1,000. That's how humans work. So why cannot we just take this way of counting into video surveillance as well? So therefore we decided to divide the system sizes accordingly. And Fredrik, can you explain what that means with baseball?
Yeah, no, I think it ties very nicely into baseball because if you look at the success of IP video so far, it's basically in the enterprise space, or as we call in baseball, the major league. This is where the best players work together. This is a best-of-breed kind of system. There's a lot of training, there's a lot of specification, there's a lot of tactics that make it work well, and people have the time and money to spend in those large systems to make a proper design in a best-of-breed world. That's where most of the IP systems have been installed today. Then if you look in the minor and little leagues, or medium and small systems, with 1 to 10 and 10 to 100 cameras, there's still a lot of analog systems in that area. And what customers need here is a different set of skills. It's more ease of use, ease of install, and typically they want to buy complete solutions from one vendor. That's why at the press breakfast here a couple of years ago we launched the Axis Camera Companion, which is very easy to use, very easy to install. And also at the ASIS show launched the S10 server that runs Axis Camera Station that comes as a complete solution that is extremely easy to use and install to address those needs as well. So that's another market trend how IP is starting to penetrate the small and mid-market, but with a different business logic compared to what we had in the enterprise market. So that's the market trends, a lot of things going on in the market with continued growth, new technologies, different approach to the markets. And now we come into the product side and the interesting new products that are coming out here. Some of you participated at the press breakfast 2 years ago when me and Kelly were playing a little game. We compared a human to a camera. Do you remember which device or which one that won that kind of shootout? Human. Some humans, Paul, but most cases, they're not as smart as human. So we did that interesting comparison in 9 different categories. We looked at vision, which actually cameras were better than humans now. We looked at intelligence, and sometimes the camera was more appropriate. And we looked at memory, which the camera was pretty good at remember different things. And that's one thing that drives the market, automation of certain things, replacing humans with computers and machines. So if we look at camera versus device, and here's a little batting fixed dome and someone shooting cameras at it. The question is that you are running your new business team, Martin. What are the other things that we can automate and do better than humans could do?
Well, I've been working with a new business team, and we are the ones who develop new stuff that's not really cameras. And we have been quite busy for quite some time. We follow the market trends, so we've read a lot about the Internet of Things. And actually at Axis, in the mid-90s, we published a white with print servers and storage servers. That's when we hired Fredrik. That's the tech writer.
For storage servers?
For storage servers. He worked for that for a week. Then he got promoted. So what we did was really intelligent network devices. And that's how we got the idea of the camera. So I looked into this, and it's funny enough, it's exactly the same thing as the Internet of Things is today. So it's just like in the fashion industry, where you have a certain fashion that's trendy at a time, and then 40 years later you can reuse that trend because everyone has thrown away the old clothes. So what we did was here, we announced a new product here. And this product here, it's really cool. It's a self-contained unit. So it's really one cable. It powers up the speaker and it gives you the audio. It could actually also listen in. So you can verify that the audio is where it should be. It automatically integrates with all leading VMS systems. And if that's not enough, it can also be assigned a phone number with SIP technology, which is the leading voice over IP protocol for phones.
So I was checking out the data sheet the other week, and I thought it was pretty exciting when I learned about it. Well, something I read about is that it's an intelligent speaker. So what does intelligence mean? Is that, I mean, if you're standing close to a speaker like that and you think about your favorite music, you can start playing it.
Absolutely.
There's nothing wrong with a little bit of ad about an opening day. I wish I played the baseball stadium.
Yeah.
No, but what is the intelligence about? What can a speaker do that typical speakers can't do?
So what it can do, I mean, it's obviously it can be automatically triggered. I actually had a burglar in my neighbor's house 2 weeks, and I could see, fortunately, the neighbor was at home. So when the burglars began climbing up the windows, the neighbor was home and started knocking on the window, and the burglars go away. And I actually caught it on video with the other new product, the door station. And then you understand the value of a loudspeaker. If that could have been automatically triggered, the burglars would have gone away anyway, because they wouldn't tell the difference between the neighbor knocking on the window rather than a loudspeaker that starts barking or something like that. So this also, we developed this together with some major system integrators, and they told us that an important function that analog systems lack is the ability to verify that the speaker is actually working. So therefore we built in a speaker test so that you can try it automatically and make sure that all speakers are actually live and functional. And that's a very important aspect in case there's like emergency speakers and so on.
Great. That's not the only thing. You have two products. This is the second product.
Yep. So the second product here, this is the IP video door station. And think about the IP video door station as a device that really brings the door stations into the video management system. Because traditionally, all these intercoms have been isolated islands, not integrated in the VMS system. And that's of course our plan, to bring this, because you already have a guard managing the video surveillance system in case it's large. And then he can also automatically, with the door station, open up remote doors, or you can have it at emergency help stations, perimeters, and so on. And of course, it follows all the open standards. So we can try it out. It actually supports SIP here. So now when I call, you will get a phone call. Maybe you can answer.
Okay, pick up.
Pick up, just lift the receiver.
Just lift the receiver.
Hello, how's it going? Yeah. So you can hear that there's no echo in it, and you can hopefully see me live in the video as well. And if we are eagle, we do like this, and you can still see me. This is a typical door station application, because you are in a remote area, in a perimeter, and you have no control of where the sun is. So we actually put in one of our very best camera blocks into this door station. So it's actually equivalent image quality of to a P3384, which is a very high-end light finder and dynamic range camera, but with a wide field of view, so you can see it.
What's the other challenge when you're having those remote locations, or at when there's delivery of goods, for example?
So another important aspect is, of course, the audio quality, because this device is going to be put up at the delivery docks, it's going to be put up at gates where like truck drivers come in and out. So it's going to be really horrible audio conditions with really noisy diesel trucks, highways, trains, and so on. So we have verified it and made sure to have noise and echo cancellation algorithms, so you can really hear loud and clear what's going on in the door station. So it's a very high-end device.
So what if I want to call this from or someone connects me, could I connect it to a cell phone? I'm on a cell phone on the go. And
That's the beauty of the ZIP protocol. So the ZIP protocol, not to be confused with the ZIP protocol, That's the leading voice over IP protocol. And when you put that into a voice PBX, there's a phone call again. So
You can hang up, that's okay.
yeah,
I know where you are.
you can easily prioritize the different phone calls. Because if you are like an underground operator and have a lot of help points, in case there is an emergency, you will get so many phone calls. And it's very important to prioritize them in the right order so you get the most important first, according to a predefined scheme. And that's a function which is built into the SIP protocol. So it really functions in that environment.
Great.
And it's easy to use. You can even assign it just a regular phone number.
So that's the two exciting products from your new business team, and we are then at the third base, and in baseball marketing. So when you come to the third base, are you all excited?
Yes, there is one term I have really understood of baseball, and that's used always here in the US, and that's when you get the home run. So what is going to be the real home run on the product side here, Frederick?
So with 14 new products and a lot of new technologies and upgrades to our software, we had a very difficult time to choose what would be the home run product at the end of the presentation. But since I helped out to do the presentation, I could choose. And my choice fell on this product here that we press released this morning, the Axis Q3709 PVE, which is Axis' first panoramic multi-sensor camera. And to me, Marky, this will be the home run.
Yeah. No, on the camera side, I completely agree with you. There's a big need in the market for this product. It solves a lot of problems. But when it comes to the new products, which are non-camera products, actually, Frederick and I, we have a bet. If it's going to be the horn speaker or if it's going to be the video intercom, that's the first home run. We're pretty sure both of them will be successful, but I was betting for the horn speaker.
So all of you, if you want to put this on the front page of the magazines, that would be very exciting to win the bet, so that's good.
Yeah.
I think they're all going to do well, but we know that this is actually going to do much better because this is a concept that the market really likes. However, solutions out there have had some challenges. One of the challenges has been it's been difficult to install and align the different sensors, and that is solved in this product by having all the sensors connected together and then moved together. They're all pre-focused from the factory, so you can basically just put it up and it's going to work right away. The other challenge with some existing solutions has been the performance. Once you move up to relatively high resolution, you lose frame rate. And that's okay, but you want to have a certain frame rate. 2-3 frames a second is not always enough. And this one here, there is 3 4K sensors in this one, so a total of 24 megapixel that all run at 30 frames a second. And you can even bump it up to run at 33 megapixel mode with 20 frames a second. So it really solves the performance challenge that's been out there. And the third thing, which is my favorite, is the fact that instead of some solutions having 4 sensors, this has 3 sensors. And the main reason for that is that typically in a surveillance scenario, you have the most interesting part of the field of view in the middle of the scene. And that's where you want to have 1 sensor covering that and not split it up into 2 sensors. So that's why I think this would be the home run here, Marky. I'm very proud of you, Marky. You learned a lot of baseball terms here. Major league, home run, what not to do with the bat, etc. So that concludes the different products here and the new things we're launching at the show. And as you figured out from the discussion with Marky, even though he now knows how to dress as a baseball player with what he called his hard hat, baseball is not a huge sport in Sweden, right?
No, it's, I mean, we have a flavor of it called Bellball, which is more for kids, but in general it's not very common. But there is one country in the world where baseball actually is big outside the US, and that is, believe it or not, in Japan.
In Japan. And here we have one of your new friends from Japan.
So this is my new friend. This is Mr. Mitarai-san. He is the CEO and chairman of Canon in Japan. And he also likes us. That's why he dresses up in the Axis baseball shirt. And he likes us so much, he has acquired Axis. And many of you know me, who met me here, have heard me saying that I would never ever sell Axis. And I never thought we would accept the offer. And when we met Canon the first time, I thought it was just another of those trips where we go home and say no, 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 no. But Well, we should also look on Axis ownership. We have three main owners. I'm the only one who's active in the company. And what we bring to the table is, of course, the long-term view and the culture and the supporters of it. But the industry is changing. There's a lot of consolidation going on, as you all know and have seen. And Canon actually can provide a lot of benefits to Axis that we, the current owners, were not able to do. And those benefits basically come because they are a so much bigger company than us, and they have solely focused on cameras. So they have a lot of technologies, such as lenses, such as image processing, chip technology. They have a huge patent portfolio. Canon is the third company when it comes to patents in the world. And production and long-term quality. So Canon also understands what the value is in Axis, because Axis, we are really two things. We are a business model with our subsidiaries and our sales model where we never bypass our channels. And of course, we are the great R&D team in Sweden. And Canon completely understands this, and they have guaranteed that they will let Axis operate as an independent company in exactly the same way we do today, although we will have a different ownership. So this is the whole rationale for this deal.
20 new products, that's the big difference.
That's the aim.
Very good. So that's conclude the presentation and all the messages and news that we want to convey. And with that being said, and a couple of products up here, let's open up for questions.